Have you ever heard someone say, at 80, passing away is just natural? But did you know that statistically nearly 99% of deaths after the age of 75 come down to just a handful of very clear causes? And most of them are actually preventable, if only they're detected early and addressed in time. We often assume that dying in old age is simply part of life, like a candle burning out, like an inevitable turn in the circle of life. But the truth is quite different. Death doesn't usually come because we've run out of time. It comes from silent diseases, small accidents with big consequences, and daily habits that build up over decades, or even from the things we ignore, thinking, "I'm sure it's nothing." Many people go about their day just fine today, and then tomorrow they never wake up again. No warning, no clear sign. Or maybe there were signs, but they were overlooked. By the time their family realizes what's happening, their health has declined so much it's impossible to turn back. And the most heartbreaking thing isn't death itself. It's that feeling of if only. If only we had known sooner. If only we had made a change earlier. If only there had been enough time to say a proper goodbye. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 leading causes of death in people over 75. The ones that account for nearly every loss at that age. Some of them you might expect, but others may truly surprise you. And the most important thing isn't what we may have done wrong in the past. It's that today, we still have the chance to turn things around, to prevent, to protect, to live longer, stronger, and more independently than we may have ever believed possible. These aren't just statistics, these are stories. Stories of fathers, mothers, spouses, grandparents, stories shaped by choices. The choice between a rushed, unprepared ending or a peaceful, meaningful, and vibrant old age. So please stay with me until the end of this video, because I won't just help you recognize the dangers. I'll also show you gentle, simple steps you can take to protect yourself and your loved ones. Small actions, just a few minutes a day, that could help you avoid long hospital stays, dependence, and decline, and instead let you fully enjoy these precious final chapters of life. Because the choices you make today will shape your strength, your freedom, and your dignity for the next 10, 15, even 20 years. We don't see our heart growing weaker each day until it stops. Agnes, 78, lived alone in a small rural town in Vermont. Her whole life she had been active, gardening, cooking, grocery shopping, even going on morning walks with a group of neighbors. But one day, while watering her plants, she suddenly felt a little dizzy. She sat down to rest, thinking maybe she was just a bit tired. She didn't tell anyone. 2 weeks later, Agnes collapsed from chest pain while out on a walk. Emergency responders managed to save her from a heart attack, but after that, she could no longer walk properly on her own. What shocked her most was this: "I never thought heart disease would hit me. I didn't feel anything serious. I thought I was doing fine." That's exactly what makes heart disease the #1 silent killer in people over 75. Many assume that being out of breath on the stairs, feeling their heart race, or getting tired at the market is just part of getting older. But in reality, those might be early signs that the heart is overworked and wearing out. Here are 3 major reasons why heart disease quietly strikes the elderly. Undetected high blood pressure. When left unchecked, it slowly weakens artery walls and forces the heart to pump harder to circulate blood. Because it doesn't cause pain, many don't realize it until it's too late. A lifetime of poor dietary habits. Years of salty, greasy, processed foods gradually clog the arteries, impair blood flow, and deprive the heart of oxygen. A sedentary lifestyle. After 70, if you no longer maintain light daily movement like walking, your heart weakens just like any muscle that goes unused. But here's the good news. Heart disease is not destiny, it's a consequence, and it's something you absolutely can improve. You don't need to run miles or follow a strict diet, but you can. Check your blood pressure every month. Cut down on salty and processed foods. Add more greens and fish to your meals. Take 15 minutes each day to walk slowly or stretch, and breathe deeply. Practice slow, steady breathing when you feel nervous or stressed. And most importantly, listen to the little signals from your body. Don't ignore unusual fatigue, a racing heart, or dizziness after meals. That's how your heart knocks, asking for help. before it falls silent forever. After age 75, a fall may not just send you to the hospital, it could take away the years of life you were still hoping to enjoy. Walter, 81, lived alone in a ground-floor apartment in Chicago. He did his own grocery shopping, watered his plants, and even climbed on a chair to reach the jam jar on the top kitchen shelf. Everything seemed fine until that fateful afternoon. Just a small slip in the bathroom. The floor was slightly wet, his slippers a little slick, and his reflexes not as quick as they were at 40. The result? A broken hip, emergency surgery, and 4 long months confined to bed. But what hurt more than the fracture was that after surgery, Walter couldn't stand on his own anymore. Every step required assistance. From being fully independent, he slowly became dependent. Each morning he stared out the window and whispered, "If only I had been a little more careful that day." Falls aren't just accidents. They're often major turning points in the lives of older adults. Falls are the leading cause of injury, death in people over 75. But what's even more frightening is the sudden decline that follows a fall. Hip fractures often require surgery and long recovery times. Many never regain their full mobility. Even without a fracture, losing balance can result in lingering pain and a fear of movement. One fall can shatter a person's confidence in their body. They avoid going outside, dread stairs, withdraw from life, and grow weaker day by day. But what you need to know is this: falls are preventable. And here are 4 things you can start doing today. Practice daily balance and leg strength exercises, just 10 minutes a day, with simple movements like heel raises, standing on one leg, or side steps. Reorganize your living space. Remove slippery rugs, install grab bars in the bathroom, and improve lighting in hallways and on stairs. Review your medications. Some drugs for blood pressure, diabetes, or depression can cause dizziness or balance issues. Talk to your doctor to make adjustments. Get into the habit of standing up slowly. Don't rush. After sitting for a long time, count to 3 before standing to avoid dizziness and falls. Remember, after a fall, what you lose may not just be bones. It could be your independence, your confidence, and your joy of living. And sometimes, all it takes is a small act of caution each day to keep your living space safe, your steps steady, and your spirit peaceful throughout your golden years. When you can no longer breathe comfortably, everything in life begins to feel more difficult. And the frightening part is that many people don't realize it until it's too late. Rosa, 79, was once a vocal teacher with a powerful singing voice. She loved life, loved laughter, and loved her quiet mornings spent watering the plants in her backyard garden. But one day, while bending down to pick a flower, she suddenly felt breathless. Her face pale. "It's just a bit of fatigue," she told her daughter, then brushed it off. A few weeks later, a persistent cough set in. Her breathing grew shorter, and the stairs she used to climb with ease became a real challenge. When she was finally taken to the hospital, doctors diagnosed her with COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a condition that had been silently progressing for years, and that changed her life forever. After 75, any small symptom related to breathing can be your body's way of sounding an alarm. Respiratory illnesses like pneumonia, chronic bronchitis, or COPD are silently stealing the lives of millions of older adults around the world, not because they can't be prevented, but because they're often ignored until it's too late. Many seniors chalk up fatigue, shortness of breath, or a nagging cough to just old age, not realizing that it's this very mindset that pushes them closer to hospital stays, or worse, total physical decline. But you don't have to wait until that moment to act. The lungs, like every part of your body, can be supported and protected not with expensive medication but through small daily habits. Gentle movement to help expand and clean the lungs, completely avoiding tobacco smoke, including secondhand smoke, keeping indoor air fresh, dry, and free from mold or harsh chemicals, and most importantly, staying up to date on flu and pneumococcal vaccines, those tiny shots that can prevent serious complications. Breath is the most precious gift we have, and yet it's often something we only appreciate when it starts to slip away. If you've ever found yourself getting short of breath during a walk, coughing without relief, or simply feeling like your vitality isn't what it used to be, take a moment, listen to your body, and begin caring for your lungs today. Because when you breathe well, you live well. And life, at any age, is worth savoring to the fullest, one breath at a time. A stroke doesn't knock before it arrives. It sends no clear warning, asks no permission. It comes in a single moment and can take everything: your ability to speak, to move, to remember, to live independently, even your life itself. Henry, 83, was once a sharp, strong man. Each morning, he made his own coffee, read the newspaper, and strolled around the neighborhood with the energy of someone years younger. Until one October morning, when he suddenly dropped his coffee cup. His mouth twisted to one side, his vision blurred, and within minutes, he couldn't say a single word. His family rushed him to the hospital, where doctors confirmed he had suffered a major stroke. They said, if he'd arrived 20 minutes later, nothing could have been done. What many older adults don't realize is this: stroke is not destiny. Nearly 80% of cases are preventable. But the problem is, we often overlook the silent factors that lead to it. High blood pressure is one of the biggest silent killers. It doesn't cause pain or obvious dizziness, but day by day it weakens blood vessels, making them fragile like glass. And atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat, creates conditions for blood clots to form. If one of those clots travels to the brain, part of your life could change forever. What's heartbreaking is that some people had warning signs. Brief numbness in a hand or foot, slurred speech that lasted a few minutes, temporary blurred vision. But because it passed quickly, they ignored it. They didn't know it was a mini stroke. A warning bell for a disaster looming close. The good news is, you don't have to wait for a major event to be warned. You can start protecting yourself today. Monitor your blood pressure regularly, reduce your salt intake, eat more greens, stay physically active, and check your heart rhythm routinely. If you've noticed yourself becoming more forgetful, feeling lightheaded when standing, or sensing your body isn't as responsive as it used to be, don't ignore it. A routine cardiovascular checkup could spare you from a future of dependence. Stroke can strike anyone, but it is not inevitable. And once you understand it and take early action, you're not only saving your own life, you're preserving the most precious thing after 75, your control over how you live and your dignity in every moment that remains. None of us ever expects to wake up one day, look in the mirror, and no longer recognize the person staring back. Cognitive decline, whether mild or severe, doesn't happen overnight. It comes slowly, quietly, like a mist that gradually blurs memory, reasoning, and the ability to care for oneself. At first, it's just little things: forgetting where you put your keys, struggling to find the right word, or blanking on the name of someone familiar. But over time, those gaps in memory aren't momentary anymore. They stretch longer, swallowing up even the most familiar details, the names of loved ones, how to unlock your own front door, or even why you're standing in the kitchen. Olivia, 79, was once a beloved literature teacher known throughout her town. She had a phenomenal memory. She remembered students' names after 20 years and could recite Emily Dickinson by heart. But one day, she didn't remember how to get home after her usual walk. She called her daughter and simply said, "I'm somewhere. There's a white bench." The fog of confusion isn't just about forgetting things. It's about losing the ability to care for yourself, forgetting to take medication, skipping meals, leaving water running overnight, or wandering into a busy street without knowing how to return. Even worse, it brings with it helplessness, fear, and eventually isolation. No one wants to become a burden on their children, but without early recognition and prevention, cognitive decline can turn a once healthy person into someone dependent in just a few short years. The problem is, many people believe that memory loss is just a normal part of aging. But that's a dangerous misconception. The brain is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. But if you care for it, if you feed it the right habits, it can stay sharp well into your later years. Major studies show that regularly engaging in mental activity like reading, learning new things, solving puzzles, or having frequent conversations can significantly slow down cognitive decline. And there's something else few people talk about. Regular physical activity doesn't just benefit your heart and lungs, it also boosts blood flow to the brain, enhancing memory and concentration. Staying socially connected, whether by meeting friends or joining a small club, is another powerful way to keep your spirit vibrant and your mind alert. And let's not forget the power of nutrition. Nutrients like omega-3s, vitamin E, B12, and antioxidants from fresh fruits and vegetables don't just nourish your body, they also protect brain cells from damage. All of these things, done consistently starting today, can become a powerful shield not just to preserve your memory but also your clarity, independence, and sense of self. Things that matter more than ever in our later years. Because the real pain isn't in aging, it's in slowly losing yourself to forgetfulness. And you can stop that from happening, starting right now. When you hear about the leading causes of death after age 75, heart disease, falls, lung conditions, stroke, and cognitive decline, you might feel scared or sad. But the most important truth doesn't lie in statistics or worst-case scenarios. It lies in something far more hopeful. Most of these causes aren't destiny. They're consequences. And consequences can be changed. If you start making adjustments today, you don't need to do anything big or dramatic. All it takes is choosing a healthier meal, walking for 15 minutes, calming your worries, calling an old friend, reading a chapter of a book, or simply listening to your body a little more closely every single day. The truth is, living long isn't enough. What matters is living long while staying healthy, staying in control, and staying clear-minded enough to know who you are, where you are, and what you're living for. None of us wants to spend our final years in dependency, slowly fading in a hospital bed, or being forgotten in our own memories. But if you start a little earlier, take action a little more deliberately, you can rewrite that story. You can be the 85-year-old who still drives to the store, remembers your grandchild's birthday, and walks confidently through the park without needing a hand to hold. That's not wishful thinking. That's what happens when small, intentional choices stack up over time. So, if there's one thing to take with you after this video, let it be this. You have more control over your health than you think, and the journey to aging strong, independent, and full of meaning doesn't begin when you fall. It begins today, with the care you've just shown yourself by watching this video to the end. If you found this helpful and want to keep walking this journey of healthy, independent, and meaningful aging with us, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with one habit you'd like to start today. Your words are the greatest motivation for us to keep creating these heartfelt and healing videos every day. Thank you for listening, and may your aging journey be strong, beautiful, and truly free.